In the heart of a forgotten town, nestled among winding cobblestone streets, stood an old library. Its windows were veiled in dust, and its grand wooden doors hadn't creaked open in what felt like a lifetime. Moonlight would often sneak through the cracks in the roof, casting long, eerie shadows across towering shelves packed with stories waiting to be told. Within these silent walls, a small, shy ghost had made his home. He wasn't a frightening spirit, not really. He was simply lonely. The library was his entire world, a vast kingdom of paper and ink, but it was a kingdom where he reigned alone. No one ever came to visit. The townsfolk whispered tales of the haunted library, of strange noises and flickering lights. And so they stayed away, leaving the little ghost to his solitude. He was a ghost of simple pleasures. More than anything, he adored stories. He would spend his nights drifting from aisle to aisle, his translucent fingers tracing the spines of leather-bound books. He knew every tale by heart, from grand adventures on the high seas to quiet romances in faraway lands. He longed to share these worlds with someone, to hear the rustle of a page turned by a living hand, to see a pair of eyes light up with wonder. But his very nature worked against him. Whenever a brave soul dared to push open the heavy doors, curiosity battling with fear, the little ghost's excitement would get the better of him. A happy little shiver from him would cause a gust of wind, slamming a book shut. A soft, ghostly sigh of contentment would make the candles in their holders flicker and dance wildly. He didn't mean to be scary. He was just clumsy with his ghostly emotions. But his unintentional antics always sent visitors running, their screams echoing in the empty hall, leaving him even more alone than before. He would watch them go, his form drooping with sadness, a silent apology lost in the stillness of the library. One stormy night, as rain lashed against the windows and thunder rumbled overhead, the heavy front door creaked open once more. But this time, it wasn't a thrill-seeker or a skeptic. It was a little girl, no older than 10, with a bright red raincoat and even brighter eyes. She was lost, seeking shelter from the storm. She held a small, flickering candle, its flame casting a warm, brave glow around her. The little ghost watched from behind a tall bookshelf, expecting her to scream and run like all the others. He held his breath, which for a ghost is a very peculiar thing to do. The girl stepped inside, her boots making soft tapping sounds on the dusty floor. She looked around, not with fear, but with a wide-eyed sense of wonder. Her gaze swept over the dusty books, the cobwebbed chandeliers, and finally it landed on the shimmering, translucent figure peeking out from behind the shelf. The little ghost braced himself for the inevitable shriek. but it never came. Instead, the girl offered a small, kind smile. She took a step closer, her candle held steady. "You don't scare me," she said, her voice soft but clear, cutting through the silence of the library. The ghost blinked, utterly bewildered. He floated out from his hiding spot, hovering nervously in the center of the room. The girl's smile widened. She looked at the books floating gently around him. A few of his favorites he'd been absent-mindedly rearranging. "You're not trying to be scary," she continued, her tone gentle and understanding. "You're just lonely. You just want someone to read with, don't you?" The ghost couldn't speak, but he nodded. A wave of warmth spreading through his spectral forma, feeling he hadn't experienced in a very, very long time. For the first time, someone had seen past his ghostly appearance and looked right into his lonely heart. And so, a most unusual friendship began. Every night, after the town had gone to sleep, the little girl would sneak back to the library. The ghost would be waiting for her, his form glowing with anticipation. They would sit together on the floor, surrounded by a circle of floating books, their pages turning as if by magic. She would read aloud, her voice filling the vast, empty spaces with life and adventure. The ghosts would listen, enraptured, sometimes acting out the parts of dragons and knights with playful swoops and shimmers. The library, once a place of shadows and silence, was now filled with the sound of a child's laughter and the happy, silent glow of a contented spirit. The dust began to settle, and the cobwebs seemed to recede, as if chased away by the light of their friendship. The books themselves seemed to shine from within, their stories awakened by the shared joy. Their nightly readings became a ritual of warmth and companionship. The ghost learned that friendship was a magic far more powerful than any spell or incantation written in his books. And the girl learned that courage wasn't about not being afraid, but about opening your heart to understand what lies beneath the surface. The old library was no longer haunted. It was enchanted. It was filled with a new kind of light, a golden warmth that spilled from its windows and touched the edges of the sleeping town. The story of the lonely ghost and the brave little girl became a silent legend, a testament to how fear can fade when kindness is the first word spoken. It shows us that everyone, no matter how different they seem, just wants to be understood. Thank you so much for joining us on this heartwarming journey. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more tales that touch the heart and spark the imagination, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. We'll see you again soon for another adventure.